New sets are going down. It's becoming more difficult to sell certain items. A lot of liquidity has exited because of a lot of people are now pulling back because they realize that, yeah, not everything actually goes up. Sometimes things can also go down in price. A bunch of other things is causing the Pokemon market to be in a lot of fear right now. Now, what better way to protect yourself than buying older boxes? Buying older boxes is where it's at. In times like this, you really want to just preserve what you have versus buying newer stuff and risking losing what you've built. Today, we're going to be talking about the first half of Scarlet and Violet. Guys, these sets are going down. These sets are correcting. The best time to buy is when no one is talking about it. The best time to buy is when no one is looking at it. People are distracted with Phantasmal Flames. People are distracted with Ascended Heroes. What this is doing is this is sucking up all of the liquidity in the market, and then now these other boxes are feeling the hit. But that's a good thing because those boxes are going to have their time to shine in the future. It's just not right now, which means it's the perfect time to buy them. So that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. We're going to be talking about the perfect buys to protect yourself against reprints where it's not too old, where there's very little returns to make, but it's also not super new where you're putting yourself at risk. That's what we're going to be talking about in today's video, guys. I don't want to waste your time, and let's just begin. Alright, so we're talking about 3 sets in this video. All of these sets are all down anywhere from 10% all the way to 40% in price. To see these pullbacks is just phenomenal. The thing about Pokemon is a lot of time it moves in like hordes, right? Like right now the highlight is Mega Evolutions, but there's a good chance that come a year from now, the highlight is going to move back to Scarlet and Violet, and it's just going to move around, right? So you kind of want to buy where the horde isn't really looking. Like Gengachu, for example, right? When the Gengachu came out, everybody moved to Chinese cards. So what did I do? I ignored that and I bought up other boxes when they were cheap, when the liquidity left those items and you could get them at a cheaper price. Now look at the Gengachu, it's down like 60% or 70%. The booster boxes are down like 50 or 60%. And now what the current horde is looking at is Mega Evolutions. That's what they're looking at. But here's the thing, there is a repeating pattern with Pokemon. This repeating pattern is generally when there's a new era and you're about 2 to 4 sets deep into the era, it is generally the best time to buy the first half of the previous era. If we compare this to Scarlet and Violet and Sword and Shield, when Scarlet and Violet's latest set was like Obsidian Flames or 151, that was generally the best time to buy Sword and Shield boxes. Once we reached like Twilight Masquerade, even before Twilight Masquerade, but I want to say once we reached Twilight Masquerade, that was when Sword and Shield boxes really took off. So you only have like a 6-month window to realistically pick up those boxes before they really take off. So if we look at Scarlet and Violet, you'll notice that 151, Paldean Fates, and Paldean Revolt, they're kind of just sitting there. They're not really doing much. But the reason is because there is so much hype for a new era. That's the thing. When a new era comes out, everything is put on a pause. And what happens is people are really excited, they're really warmed up, then one set comes out, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then people shift back to quality over quantity. I'm not saying that Mega Evolution sets are bad, but what people generally do is then they'll look back and go, you know what, 151 is really good, I'm going to crack some. Paldean Face is really good, I'm going to crack some. It's going out of rotation next year, well that means that I'm not going to be able to crack it any cheaper, so I might as well buy it now. So 151 Booster Bond displays are down 11%, which is a really, really good price. The fact that there was realistically no reprint, like this is just the market doing that. There is no like other greater force influencing the price. It's simply just the market deciding it's going to go down 11%, which is really, really good. That is a really good buying opportunity. The thing about 151 is it's one of the most printed sets Pokemon have ever made, but it's for a good reason. It's gotten ripped into the oblivion. I mean, the Charizard has like 80,000 plus cards graded. That is astronomical. For one card in one set to have that many cards graded is no laughing matter. That doesn't mean that there's too much of the set or that it's overprinted. No, it means that there's such a ridiculous demand to open it up. It's not that there's a demand to buy the box. It's not that there's a demand to keep it sealed. There's a demand for people to open it. Like you can see, people want to experience opening it. So what happens is once Pokemon stop printing it, realistically, people are still going to be opening it, but there's no more going to be entering supply. This is the thing, is it's always good to look at sets where the pop is really high because it shows the desirability for a set, right? Like a lot of cards in like Scarlet and Violet 1 or Scarlet and Violet like Paradox Rift or Temporal Forces, you look at a lot of those cards and the pops aren't that high compared to the Charizard where it's really high. And the reason is because the Charizard is desired. So to have such a high quality set retrace 11%, honestly is a blessing in disguise. Generally, once the quality gets higher and higher, the volatility kind of drops, right? So like, let's just say Destined Rivals. Destined Rivals is a really, really high quality set. So I wouldn't expect massive drops on this in the future because it's really high quality. Even if it goes down 5%, that's enough for a lot of people to pull the trigger on it versus other sets where they want to wait for like a massive retrace, right? So 151 is looking really good. But if we look at something like Paldean Fates is actually down 40%, the displays, which is pretty crazy. I would credit it to three things. First of all, just the market going down in general. That's number one. Number two, I would also credit it to being a massive run up this year. Paldean Fates, I want to say for the first honestly, for the first year, it was really dead. It did not move. However, then it picked up traction because people realized it was a lot better than people gave it. And then now it's really picked up. So what happened is you had a lot of people up really, really large percentages and a lot of them took profit, which is fair enough. Now, the thing about Paldean Fates is it actually flipped 151 at one point. It hasn't anymore. I think it will in the future. I think Paldean Fates is honestly, I think it still will flip 151 eventually, but nonetheless, they're still both going to do really well, and if you own either or, you're still going to absolutely kill it. So the thing about Paldean Fates is it built itself from the ground up. So it's a tested formula, and it works, right? Like, there's no guesswork with it. The Bubble Mew is a popular card. That did not get the name Bubble Mew from day one. It took like a year. This card had to marinate in the market before it really, really took off. So there's very little guesswork into it. But anyways, then we look at number 3, and that is the collection box coming out. For a couple stores, I believe Canada, it has already come out, but at least in Australia, it's going to come out in, I believe, December. If you do need a Discord server that gives notifications, TCGNOTIFY is your best bet. There's actually a current discount that we have. We have a Black Friday discount. If you sign up on your first month, you get 60% off if you use the code below, which is SamBoy60. Make sure to sign up. I would highly recommend it. Your first month goes from $12 to like $4.80. It's around that range, but I would highly recommend using them. They're the biggest in Australia, and there's a reason why. If you're interested, make sure to check the video in the description. It gives a little intro to what it actually does and what it is. So I would highly recommend you join it. But there's going to be drops for that in December, which is absolutely great. So I think these 3 reasons have caused Paldean Fates to really go down a lot. Now, what's happened is when Paldean Fates really went up and it really took off to like $2,000 a display, people looked at that and they went, holy moly, I wish I bought Paldean Fates. I wish I could buy it cheaper. Well, this is your chance. This is your chance to buy it cheaper. And I feel like this is where a lot of people get tested, is that I know a lot of my audience is really new to the Pokemon industry, and that's why I really want to make it my mission to bring up these certain things, right? Like when 151 and Paldean Fates did really well, people just didn't stop talking about it in the comment section, which was really cool. It was nice to see these sets mature and do really well, and now people talk about them. But the problem was, the second they went down like 10 to 15%, people immediately forgot about them. I have not gotten a comment or a DM about if someone should buy 151 or Paldean Fates in, I want to say, weeks now. It's been a while, and I get comments every single day. Like, trust me, my comment section does not hold back. They say their full opinion. There is no holding back there. So for no one in my comment section to talk about 151 Paldean Fates is mind-boggling to me. So what this means is a lot of people are moving in herds, including my viewers. So guys, please, if you're looking at Mega Evolutions, if you're looking at these short-term plays like the Burger Chew, you're looking at Chinese cards, which no one is looking at them anymore because they're no longer cool, they're no longer shiny, because they went up and they went down, they had their moment. But if you're moving on to the next big thing, which is Mega Evolutions, I highly urge you, please just look at something that has tested itself, has proven itself, and has done well, okay? Magikarp was like $20, now it's like $300 last time I checked. It built itself from the ground up. The Sunzard, it was like $150, now it's like $250. It built itself up, or actually, I think it's $250. I haven't checked that one in a while. It could have gone down. Then you look at Paldean Fates. The Bubble Mew was like $80. Now it's like $800. It built itself up. Please buy boxes where it's tested itself and it's proven itself. To have a set where there's been so much volatility and there's been so much emotions and build up, and the set is still in rotation is amazing. Like with Fusion Strike, with Sword and Shield, there was so much guesswork, right? Like, okay, sure, we could agree Lost Origin was a good set, Evolving Skies was a good set, but realistically, you only see the true fruits of your labor once it realistically goes out of print. The good news with Scarlet Violet is you're seeing cards like the Mew go from $80 to like $800. Sorry, I just realized I keep saying $800. That's like AUD. It's actually more like $550 to 600 USD. So sorry, my apologies if I confused anybody. If you're buying these new sets, you're working on speculation, which inherently, sure, you hold it for 5 years, you're going to do just fine. But wouldn't you rather buy a set that has already proven itself? Like this constant reprints. I highly urge you, please pick up some Paladin Fates. Please pick up that collection box. I can't stress it enough. That collection box from retail to December of 2026, it's going to be one of the best performing boxes, I reckon. 100%. Paldean Fates is just such a heavily ripped set, and it's just because it's such a good quality set and it's so exciting. These sets aren't going to stay cheap for long, and I think this is a true test to see how good of an investor are you truly. There is nothing wrong with buying new sets, okay? I've voiced my opinion. I've said how I personally am holding off from them. I'm not going to slander you. If you decide to buy them, that is your choice. If you want to do that, if you want to expose yourself to a little bit of every single set, A-okay. But please make sure to prioritize a little bit of Paldean Fates, a little bit of 151, a little bit of Paldea Evolved. Because in moments where there's so much volatility, we don't know. In 6 months' time, we could all be laughing that we used to buy booster boxes at $250. In a year time, we could be laughing that we used to buy booster boxes for $250. In 2 years' time, we could be laughing that we were buying booster boxes for $250. But guess what? The entire Mega Evolution era is still in print for that entire window. So buying these newer sets, not only you're probably going to make a really, really large percentage in returns because they're going out of rotation, they're heavily ripped sets. These aren't sets that just sit on shelves. These are sets that have a demand. And once that supply is cut, that demand stays the same, but the supply doesn't. The supply goes down every day. So not only you're preserving your wealth that you've built in this industry, but you're also increasing it by making good plays. Now, if you want to go the absolute safest bet, you can buy Sword and Shield. There is inherently nothing wrong with that. My recommendations would probably just be Fusion Strike, Lost Origin, and Evolving Skies, or some Crown Zenith if you want to. Crown Zenith ETBs are still relatively cheap considering how old they are, but if you want to, just those 3 booster boxes work just fine. But in my opinion, I think the best returns will be Paldean Fates 151 and Paldea Evolved. Paldea Evolved because it has a really expensive chase as a PSA 10. Paldean Fates because it has such an iconic card, or multiple iconic cards. And then you go to 151 where it's really nostalgic. They all have their own unique traits, their own unique attributes. These sets will do incredibly well, and there's very little guesswork involved with them. You want to buy when the market is going down. You want to buy when there's blood in the market and there's fear in the market. This is the dip we've all been waiting for. This is the dip where you really pull the trigger on it, right? Like when people make comments in my comment section saying that they're waiting for a reprint or they're waiting for a dip, now is the dip. Now is the time to buy. And in my opinion, I think that whether you buy early Scarlet Violet or not, it will really test to see how well you are of an investor. And I don't mean that in a way like if you don't buy it, then like you're an idiot. But this is where there's an item that's good quality, it's dipping, so are you immediately going to buy it, or are you just going to think, nah? Because a couple months ago, it was very popular to say that you wish you could buy it cheaper, you wish that it would go down, or reprints would happen. Well, now that we have that, do you stay by your word? Now, it's the same thing as Bitcoin, right? Like Bitcoin just hit 86K, so a bunch of people are incredibly scared, they're panicking, versus when it was 120, all people would throw out that it was going to be 200K or 300K and 400K. Now it goes down and a lot of people immediately pull back. It's definitely something to think about. Now is the best time to buy these sets, in my opinion. I think you will do just fine buying them. You will protect yourself against free prints, but you'll also continue to grow your wealth in this industry. That is going to do it for today's video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching.